Goes out the window.
Does it annoy you that you're named after that great man and he's in his corner for this?
Strictly business. He's getting the bag in his so.
Tyson, just a response to people like Bellew saying this is a freak show and other people saying it's just for money.
Haters gonna hate, bitches gonna hate.
First of many.
They'll use the bitch, and so was Froch.
What did you make of Usyk?
Following Froch's rude and demeaning treatment of John Fury during a live session, Tyson Fury has now taken serious aim at the man.
Come and meet me face to face. I'll eat Froch alive and I'll eat Bellew alive. You want to come and see me? I'm here and I'm ready and I'm stepping back from no man no matter who.
The heavyweight champion has set up a rematch with Usyk, but he must give Fr some time to heal, and he did it with extreme brutality.
The Usyk fight didn't happen. You're fighting Ngannou instead of Usyk. You should be defending your title, really. You've got an obligation to the sport of heavyweight boxing as a champion. How long have you got left in the game? What, you got 2-3 more fights?
After losing to Alexander Usyk for the undisputed world heavyweight title, Tyson Fury is back. This time, though, he's going to fight again, this time verbally against Fr, a longtime rival of the Fury family. Fury hasn't promised to be defeated, so this is just a verbal exchange. It's expected, though, that this feud with Froch won't take away from his training for the rematch in October, as Bob Arum has just confirmed the bout. Essentially, Mike Tyson's former sparring partner and friend Joe Egan had complained about Tyson Fury being too distracted before the fight, questioning Fury's sincerity before the fight and highlighting instances in which the Gypsy King was.
It was a close fight, but it was only 50% of Tyson Fury. He wasn't fit for that fight, Carl. I don't care what anybody says. He was thinner, they were saying his weight was great. He wasn't fit. He didn't prepare properly for that fight.
Although it was a close bout, Tyson Fury had the upper hand. Carl, he was unfit for that fight. It doesn't matter what people think. They said that despite his large weight, he was unfit and had not adequately trained for the bout. He said it again because he was unable to stop talking about Tyson Fury's lack of preparation. An old proverb goes, failed to prepare, prepared to fail. He was in Dubai observing Francis and Joshua after his training camp broke up. It was discovered that Joe Egan had been watching Tyson Fury for 9 weeks prior to the fight. He continued by highlighting other crucial instances in which Tyson Fury demonstrated his lack of seriousness in the lead-up to the battle. He's holding a press conference in Manchester without Usyk 7 weeks before the fight. Usyk did not break camp, and 4 weeks prior to the fight, he was in Europe visiting his family, spending time with his kids, and doing other things. In a 12-week training camp, there are sacrifices that must be made, and he failed to make them. Being a YouTuber hasn't caused Mike Tyson to lose his camp. I don't think Tyson Fury took this fight seriously, but that is how serious he is about his battle with Jake Paul. I think he bought into the hype that he was taking his fight seriously, but he wasn't fit enough to maintain his brilliance, and he also had another distraction in the form of his father giving him instructions over Sugar Hill and Andy Lee, who have more boxing knowledge than he will ever have.
Was broke up, right? He was out in Dubai watching Ngannou and Joshua 9 weeks before the fight. 7 weeks before the fight, he's doing a press conference in Manchester without Usyk. Usyk didn't break his...
He continued by drawing comparisons between Tyson Fury and his early boxing days, when he appeared more fit than he does now. The Tyson who defeated Klitschko 10 years ago in Germany was incredibly fit. The Tyson who defeated Deontay Wilder in the first fight was also extremely fit. However, the Tyson who defeated Francis and Wald wasn't fought in either fight, and it was the same type of fight. He wasn't 100% fit, but he still came close. You know, there are too many men in his camp who will confront him and tell him that he needs to get back out on the roads like he used to. Tyson is an incredible fighter who can fight. In the 12th round against Wilder, he was knocked down, got back up, and was able to dance around.
Before the fight, he's doing a press conference in Manchester without Usyk. Usyk didn't break his camp. Then 4 weeks before the fight, he's out visiting his family in Morecambe, seeing his children and stuff. Now, you were the ultimate.
Even though the new undisputed world heavyweight champion has some positive news in a rematch with Alexander Usyk planned, Tyson Fury has gotten himself into another bind that could cost him another fight against Usyk in October. This time, he attacked Carl Foster following their numerous previous exchanges over the latter's disrespect for Fury's father, John Fury, during an Instagram live session. We'll talk more about that later in the video.
And terrible that people will be watching this fight, the biggest fight in years, and there'll be young kids and people trying to get into the sport, and the attention it's bringing to boxing. You've got John Fury, the big idiot, Headbutting.
And really, when you think of it, John Fury seems one of the wordiest people on earth for every form of disrespect. The headbutt of Alexander Usyk's team member, the repeated hitting of a glass separating him and KSI, the overturning of the press announce table at Tommy Fury's press conference with Jake Paul, the open challenge against Mike Tyson, and many other instances are reasons why even the least boxer would feel accomplished to sit John Fury down and finish him off with scathing statements, and that was exactly what Carl Froch did. He confronted John Fury and mocked him for Tyson's loss against Alexander Usyk. But not just that, he went ahead to blame JN for Tyson's loss, claiming John Fury was responsible for the chaos in Tyson's corner on the night. Froch had told him during the live session that he was a destructive father, saying anyone should be ashamed to have a father like you. That's so embarrassing. You literally ruined your son. He lost because you always want to steal the show, and you've done it by doing the most embarrassing thing possible. You headbutt your opposing team and shouted over your son till he lost. Don't even come for me. You'll regret it. Froch then quit after John Fury said had no business with what happened in the corner and that he should get ready for some serious beating. You won't survive it, old man. You'd be on the ground before I raise a finger, Carl Attar said. And now, Tyson Fury is apparently back, ready to take revenge on his father's behalf. He chastised Carl for approaching his father and inquiring as to whether he had ever had a father. You're a complete moron, Carl, and I don't blame you. That is not how you approach my father. Please don't disregard mine if you don't have one. I'll murder you if you don't respect boundaries and don't cross the line.
Goes out the window.
Does it annoy you that you're named after that great man and he's in his corner for this?
Strictly business. He's getting the bag in it, so.
Tyson, just a response to people like Bellew saying this is a freak show and other people saying it's just for money.
Haters gonna hate, bitch is gonna hate.
First amendment.
They'll use the bitch, and so was Carl Froch. There you go.
He ridiculed Carl even more for saying he would take on John Fury in a charity bout. Ignore my dad and go meet him. Leave him alone. Let's confront Francis face to face in the ring. In response to criticism of his plan to fight boxing rookie Francis in a 10-round non-title match on October 28 in the Saudi capital of Riyadh, Tyson Fury, the former heavyweight champion of the World Boxing Council, struck back. Prior to the fight, it was evident that the 35-year-old British fighter was shoving around the former heavyweight champion of the World Boxing Association, International Boxing Federation, and undisputed world heavyweight champion Alexander Usyk in favor of the lucrative matchup with the former heavyweight champion of the Ultimate Fighting Championship Francis. The remarks made by the two retired former world champions, Carl Froch and Tony Bellew, particularly hurt Fury's feelings. See these fucking balls? Slap those moronically foolish people. Bell and Froch's inability to profit financially from the game, according to Fury, is obviously distressing to them. I can't tell you right now, but I just signed the biggest deal in boxing history. They're like all these suckers in the media who bring up Tyson Fury in an attempt to generate some clickbait. But boxing wouldn't exist without me. I was the game's operator.
See this fucking balls? Lick them. Listen, haters are gonna hate, and the fact that Tony Bellew and Carl Froch didn't make any money out of the game is obviously hurtful to them. And I'm making the biggest bags that's ever existed. I've just signed the biggest deal in boxing history, which I can't divulge to you right now. But let's just say, clickety clank, let Tony Bellew and Carl Froch do a little mock-up fight.
Fury was reprimanded by Froch for disparaging the game and its supporters. Speaking about money is anything but sophisticated. Tony and I have done fairly well. We've left the sport in fine physical and mental shape, with no debt, and with our health intact. Frost on battling, he remarked on his YouTube page. He went on, I'm an average fighter, that fun. Your resume and mine don't compare. It simply doesn't. You have 4 victories against world titles for Steve Cunningham and an awful battle against former cruiserweight champion Vladimir Klitschko, in which he lost to Deontay Wilder. You defeated world champions 3 times with 11 wins. Lennox Lewis has what?
Friggin' shithouse.
A friggin' shithouse.
To me, when you call somebody a shithouse, it means they're a bottle job. It means they're scared to fight anybody. I don't even know what that means, but he's called me a has-been. What's all this has-been business?
People are only interested in current champions, men who's doing stuff today, who's getting in and fighting. No one wants...
I'll tell you something, you can have as much money as you want in your wallet. You turn up to the Hall of Fame party next year, and you won't be dining on the top table with any of my peers because you won't belong there with that CV. Froch, however, added it, advising Tyson Fury to instead mind his business and concentrate concentrate on real fights. You should be defending your title, fighting other champions. How long have you got in the game? 2-3 more fights. It's a waste to take these crossover fights. You're killing off the fans. They're turning against you. It's sad to see deep down. I think you know you're hurting the sport. Get in that ring with a real fighter like Alexander Usyk or Anthony Joshua. Fury first became world champion 8 years ago when he dethroned World Boxing Association, World Boxing Organization, and International Boxing Federation champion Vladimir Klitschko by unanimous decision in Germany. In a slow-paced fight with a low punch output in the wake of the victory, he announced his retirement and didn't box again for over a year and a half. His second title run began in February 2020 when he annexed the World Boxing Council belt from Deontay Wilder in their rematch by a 7th-round knockout in Las Vegas. He then defended the title 3 times with knockout victories over Wilder, Dillian Whyte, and Derek Chisora before losing to Alexander Usyk in a bout that would have seen him become the first undisputed world heavyweight champion should he have emerged victorious. However, he's been giving another shot at that just recently, with everything now set for Tyson Fury to get his second chance at cementing his name in history books as one of the all-time greats and the less than 30 undisputed world heavyweight champions in history necessarily. Top-ranked CEO Bob Arum reports that Tyson Fury has officially triggered a rematch clause to face Alexander Usyk. That completed it. I adored it. What will happen to Tyson Fury next? There is a rematch clause, and Tyson has chosen to fight and use the rematch scores. Last weekend, the Ukrainian emerged victorious over Fury via split decision. Victory became the first fighter since Lennox Lewis defeated Evander Holyfield in 1999 to unify the belts. However, Usyk was in danger of being stripped of his championship due to the fact he was meant to make a mandatory title defense against Croatia's Filip Hrgović, despite Usyk's epic performance that saw him add the World Boxing Council belt to his collection that already included the World Boxing Organization, World Boxing Association, and International Boxing Federation titles. The politics of boxing and actions of its sanctioning bodies almost saw Usyk vacate his International Boxing Federation title in less than 2 weeks. Each sanctioning body has a mandatory challenger for its respected belt, with a rotation system dictating which belt is defended first. The most recent mandatory title defense was last August when Usyk beat the World Boxing Association's #1 contender Daniel Dubois. In the case of the International Boxing Federation, their mandatory challenger is Filip Hrgović, who has long been next in line for a world title shot. But Filip Hrgović, the IF's mandatory challenger, wasn't willing to wait around for a rematch. Hrgović has been the top heavyweight contender since an August 2022 win over Gael Jone. The Croatian will be in action next weekend when he takes on England's Daniel Dubois as part of the Matchroom vs. Queensberry 5v5 in the same Saudi Arabia venue where Usyk tasted victory last week. Material man. He's a man of God. He's deeply religious, and I love that about him. He's proud, and he stands by it, and I just don't think there's any need for Alexander Usyk to ever put on a pair of boxing gloves again in his life. What he's done as an amateur, as a cruiserweight now, he was initially set to duke it out with Daniel Dubois for the title in June, with the winner expected to take on Anthony Joshua come September. While the International Boxing Federation did not enforce their mandatory title defense to allow Fury versus Usyk to happen, they had decided not to wait any longer. With boxing journalist Dan Rafael reports that Usyk will be forced to vacate the belt within the next 2 weeks. According to Rafael, the choice is based on the terms of the Fury versus Usyk bout deal. On June 1st, Hrgović is set to battle Dubois, with a suddenly vacant title anticipated to be at stake. At first, it seemed that Usyk's reign as undisputed king would be extremely brief, because should their rematch take place later this year, only 3 belts would be at stake. Should it proceed, the World Boxing Council, World Boxing Association, and World Boxing Organization would be in line. Usyk, who was the undisputed cruiserweight champion before moving up to heavyweight, is strapped by the World Boxing Council, World Boxing Association, and World Boxing Organization. He also has belts from IBO and Ring Magazine. He will now face Fury in a prearranged rematch in October, which is anticipated to be another competitive battle. But it's official that Alexander Usyk won't be losing his belt anymore following his appeal. Yes, without a doubt. As you know, we return and take a quick nap. Talk about the fight between Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. Carl Afar said that with this in mind, if President Daryl Peoples confirmed that Usyk officially requested an exception to keep his International Boxing Federation heavyweight world title for a Fury rematch, rather than being stripped for failing to face his mandatory challenger. We spend some time with our families and we get it back on in October. There is a rematch clause. Do we do a rematch again straight away? Yes, hence, he remains the undisputed world heavyweight champion till at least October, when he locks horns against Tyson Fury in the squared circle. Now that Arum has verified that Fury has triggered a rematch clause with his Ukrainian opponent, it seems as though his wish has been fulfilled. Even though Croatian boxer Filip Perkovic is the required opponent in order to rematch Fury, Froch asked for an exemption to retain his IBF heavyweight belt. Arum broke the announcement, according to Talk Sport, and then declared that the bout would happen at the end of this year or the start of the next. With the mandatory challenger, Usyk knew, going into his titanic match against Fury in Riyadh, that his undisputed reign might not last more than 2 weeks. When Usyk and Fury first announced their fight date, there was always the chance of a brief undisputed reign and splinter of the belts. But things became even more problematic when Fury's eye injury forced the fight to a later date and advanced the fight between the two. In September 2021, Usyk defeated Anthony Joshua on points to capture the World Boxing Association, World Boxing Federation, and World Boxing Organization titles. A year later, in a rematch with the British fighter, Usyk kept the belts. Hravovic defeated Zhang that same evening to become the required challenger. The 37-year-old now wants to continue winning all 4 titles in order to defend against the Gypsy King when they square off later this year. In the meanwhile, Fury, who lost last Saturday, has been banned from boxing for 1 week. It has come to light that he received a fairly insignificant 1-week medical suspension from the UAE Boxing Commission, meaning he was not permitted to compete until this next weekend. That has nothing to do with his rematch, which he intends to enter in the best shape possible. However, until then, rumors about Alexander Usyk's victory over Tyson Fury, which led to his declaration as the new undisputed world heavyweight champion, will continue to circulate. Surprisingly, Carl Fry had anticipated this outcome and had even predicted the fight in favor of Alexander Usyk. The World Boxing Council title was held by Carl Froch twice between 2008 and 2011. The International Boxing Federation title was held by him from 2012 to 2015, and the World Boxing Association title was held by him from 2013 to 2015. What's up with Usyk, Carl? He's slowing down now that he's 37, but he still has the capacity to win a few close rounds and acknowledge that he labored in those rounds. He returns to his corner and then simply